What's up, everybody? This is your girl Chanel, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
This interview has actually, Matt and I have been going back and forth for the better part of the last month and a half because somebody keeps going back and forth to Japan.
That's me. Bit too often, but I'm grateful. So
Yeah. What is that like for you? Be like going back and forth to a different country. It's not even a different state. You're going to a different country every so often.
I know, honestly, like with all these years of traveling, I mean, the first few times that I went, it's kind of like, oh my God, I'm going to Japan. And now it's definitely like a second home for me. And it makes me see like how small the world is too. It's not as big as we think it is. You know what I mean? I mean, like when you go to like a country like Africa, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, it's like super huge. But I mean, to just be able to travel and get to like another country, the fact that I could be here tonight and then in Japan tomorrow night, like that's insane.
That's
you
a good
know?
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. Now let's talk a little bit about your first track. I fell in love with a DJ, which was 10 years ago to this year.
Yeah.
That track was a different sound. It was a reggae sound. Tell me about your evolution from that reggae sound to your sound today. You're more pop.
Yeah.
So how did that transition really happen for you?
I honestly think that I fell in love with the DJ was kind of like an accident. Because I was fine on MySpace and I put that song up there. I remember I wrote that on the Bump Bump instrumental, which was the R. Kelly beat. And, at that time, MySpace, you get to put up whatever music.
Right.
And when Virgin Music listened to the batch of music that I had at that time, when they were interested in signing me, that was a song that interested them in putting me out. Yeah. So I didn't really have a lot of time to like kind of figure out what my true sound was, etc. But that was it. So it kind of nearly put me into a box, which I'm glad it didn't because I do all kinds of music. My music overall is pop, but I am very influenced by, I'm influenced by a lot of urban music, soul music, rock music. And definitely like when I say like top 40 songs, because I grew up singing in a top 40 band, like all the top 40 songs that you hear like from the Backstreet Boys to Destiny's Child you know what I mean? It's all within me. So the transition was natural, and I am influenced constantly by music that's put out and life and everything. So that all intertwines.
Now, you took an interesting take with your career. You went more to you went to promote it more outside of the States as opposed to starting out in the States.
Yeah.
So you started as a J-pop artist, is that right?
Well, I started out here and I did the 40 states with I Fell in Love with the DJ, but that song got picked up in Japan. That's where it first blew up, even though I had a good 2-year run around Europe with the song, which was great. But Japan was like the place where it blew up, and I came out with an album out there too. And it went gold. The single went gold and the album went gold. So that was kind of like an accident too. It was like, what is happening? Just nothing kind of went to plan, It just happened that way. And not knowing that I was going to grow a career out there. Because after I came out with that song and the album, they kind of wanted another album. And I grew a relationship with my rep out there and kind of told him about how my dad had a karaoke and he used to love singing Japanese songs. Yeah. And then from that conversation, it sparked off into, hey, what if I sung in Japanese? It was just a play around, but then we did it. We experimented and
So it wasn't always a conscious thought of yours.
It wasn't. It really wasn't. It really wasn't. Like, it's nuts. Yeah.
Crazy. So moving forward, now you've released a new album, your first all English album, Calm Before the Storm. You've been working with CJ for quite some time already. What is it about CJ, your writing partner, that you guys got together that first time and you're still with him today?
Yes.
Like you're not tired of each other. Like why did you keep him in I guess in your like luggage?
Yeah, right. CJ, I've known CJ for years. However, it wasn't until working on Comet for the Storm, and we probably wrote like, I don't know, so many songs, but it wasn't until this particular EP that I was like, you are my writing partner. Like, I can't imagine writing without him, even though we still do, but we just have such a chemistry, you know? And I've written with him before, but you have to understand, like, those songs that we wrote before, you know, we were still growing, we were still, you know, learning about each other and stuff, even though chemistry was always there. But now, especially because I know the kind of direction that I want to go to and the kind of sound, the kind of things I want to experiment with, melody-wise, lyric-wise, production-wise, you know, it was like solidified. Like, CJ, man, you my boy. You know, this is a great team effort. Yeah.
Now going back to an all English album, did it feel like starting over again because technically you're you know promoting yourself in the U.S. now?
It did feel like I started all over again, especially because my 5-album deal was done with Japan, and I had a choice to, you know, sign again for another 3-4 options, or I come home and start all over. Right. So I took a major risk, especially because I didn't know what I was wanting to do. Right. And I did not know I was going to be called by Universal Japan again, because they clearly told me that they're not interested in doing any kind of new music, and they just wanted me to do J-pop. Isn't that the same old story all the time? So I came home, and I went in with CJ and Mario. Mario, who is an amazing producer, who has a lot of the songs in the EP. Yeah. And he really gave me like 4 to 6 months of his time. Wow. Just figuring out, like, you know, just experimenting, figuring out, like, you know, what was me, you know, what was us. And he really helped bring that out. And so about a year in, after we picked the songs from, like, I think we were like 30 over songs, had a listening party and everything. And just during the time when I had the listening party, Universal Japan called me. And that was already like almost the end of the year. Wow. And they asked me, you know, Chanel, do you have any music? And I'm like, yeah, but you ain't gonna like it, bro. You know, they said, just send it anywhere. And I was like, all right. So they heard it, and they said that they wanted to license it. And that's how it all started. And then from there, with releasing the album out there, I was planning on releasing the EP out here. So the songs that you guys hear on the EP are also songs I sung in Japanese to be released over there. So
that's cool.
It's been busy, man.
So how different is it when you're writing lyrics in just English as opposed to English in Japan? Do you feel it's harder to focus on just one language, or is it harder to focus on 2 different languages in one track?
In terms of writing, or
in terms of writing, yeah.
In terms of writing, you know, I don't speak Japanese and I don't write in Japanese, so it's very easy for me to write a song and have somebody, like, you know, put in Japanese words where I think it fits. You know, like, oh, you know, it sounds like the Japanese word should come in here or come in there. It's a lot more fun than it is a thought of difficulty or easiness. It's pretty natural. Right. Yeah.
Now going into this EP, I listened to the EP. Hollywood's the first track on there. Yeah. I love that introduction. Well, I love Hollywood as the introductory track. Yeah. What made you choose Hollywood on this track to open it up?
Well, because 1, I'm not from here, and 2, you know, the song really spoke of how sometimes we perceive something a certain way and it's not really what it is, you know? And so I thought it was the perfect opener because it really showcases how I thought many a times, you know, like, I'm coming to Hollywood, I'm going to do this, and thought it was going to be a lot easier than I thought, but it wasn't. And the whole route changed up, and, you know, Hollywood is just not as glamorous as I thought it was, but it's still a beautiful thing. You know, it's still a beautiful thing at the end of the day. Yeah.
And then let's jump into Miracles. Miracle is a track that I enjoyed as well, because it's more of, to me, it was more of like a dance track. Actually, I'm just going to jump into all the other tracks.
Go ahead.
So that's more of a dance track. And then the last 2 tracks, which was Superstar and I can't remember the final track.
Lovesick, or
no.
I should know the order.
You should know the order.
What is the order of it?
Lovesick was before Superstar, I want to say. And then we have Superstar, and we close with Criminal, yes.
It does?
Yeah. Criminal? It was Superstar and Criminal.
So
those 2 tracks were like big band. That's what I heard. You hear the trumpet, you hear the jazz, you hear, you know, like I love the mixture of the record, because you could say, you know, it's a pop album, but it's not just, you know, pop songs. You can hear a little bit of everything in it.
There's a lot of musicality to it. Yes. And that's one of the things that I truly wanted when I came into the studio. I said, I need some real instruments in this. I need some musicians. I want to work with producers that are not just beat makers, but also, has a lot of knowledge when it comes to music. And Mario is one of those people. He plays guitar, he plays the keys, and it was just perfect. So perfect. And then we had horn players come in for certain songs like Superstar and Criminal and stuff. And that's another thing that was important to me because a lot of people have listened to my songs and it's mostly very just, pop tunes, minus a lot of like, the substance of music. And so that was important. And that's why a lot of that comes through in this EP, Now,
was this natural for you in the studio to record all of these things, or was it a little more challenging because you're doing more in one record than you've done before?
Absolutely. You know what? I think like in hindsight, it was challenging, but in the process it wasn't. It was more, when you're experimenting, you're trying things, a sound comes up and you're like, oh, like add this, add that, but we probably don't want that, I hear more of this. So I mean, to a non-musician, I mean, it's going to look difficult, you know what I mean? But I enjoy what I do, and that whole process was magical. It really, really was. And it really was the start of the direction, or the new direction that I want to head towards.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy this EP. I'm actually bummed that it is an EP and not a full album, because 7 tracks is just not enough.
It's coming, man. Like I have more that's that I have put away that it's gonna take time to come out. I can't bombard everybody with everything at once. So I'm so glad. That makes me so happy.
Now, you did mention you did about 30 songs for this EP and picked the 7.
Yeah.
So why were these 7 so special for you that you had to release them?
Well, we actually picked, I think it was 12 to 13 songs, And listen, my listening party, I gotta brag about it. It was so dope. We had like our own notepads, and it was so DIY, man. And in the notepad, when you open it up, it says like, love, and hate, or something like that. Okay. And then there was a comment box, so people got to like give notes. And the people that I invited were my friends, but I told them to bring one person that I don't know, and one person who is completely at a different age from them. It could be like, somebody like super older than them, like their mom, their dad. Yeah, because I think it's important to hear like the different demographic of people, like what they think and how they feel about the songs. And it was so, like, I could cry just talking about it, because it was such an amazing experience to have all those people in there, and they were really committed. Like, they really believed in the music, and I appreciated it so much. And it was just such an authentic experience, And so from that batch of votes, we cut it down to the 12 songs. And the reason for why I picked the 7, once again, is because I didn't want to just put everything out at once. Right. So did I answer the question? What was your question?
Oh, you sure did. You sure did. But the thing is, it's not only that you picked the right 7 tracks, but the way that you organize them on this record. It like I
forgot how I did.
That you forgot how you did, yes. But
no, I don't. There is a reason for why I put them in those order. Like, I remember that I chose Hollywood first for the reason that I told you earlier. Right. And I wanted them to get like a bit of each of the element of music. Like, Miracle has a bit of that dance pop vibe, but it's different, isn't it?
No,
like,
it really is. It's not like today's dance pop vibe.
Yeah.
Like, it's something new, something fresh. Like, that's what I wanted to say earlier.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you said that, man. Because, even though like I believe in my own stuff, it does make a huge difference when somebody tells me how they felt about it,
right. Because so many people could write anything. They can create whatever they want, but they can't all make it fresh. Everybody's going to copy somebody. And yours is different. Like, that's what, like, seriously, like, I can't stop listening to it. And going back to the track listing, I love the way that it is, because I love Superstar and I love Criminal, but I don't think I would enjoy Superstar and Criminal the same way if you had them in the beginning.
Really?
I don't think I would have.
And you know why? Because, okay, this is going to sound weird, but they're heavier songs to me, And I felt like, the first few songs are perfect appetizers into it, because I really want people to listen, you know what I mean? Because when you put on an album, usually, like, for me, it's like, oh yeah, and then you start to like kind of calm down, and then you're probably doing something, you're like, damn, what song is this? It kind of slowly like sinks into you. And Criminal is like this, to me, it's like one of my favorite ballads, and I really wanted people to really indulge in that. And usually when it comes down to like the last song, people are really listening, so And it makes them want to go back to the top. I was like, wait a second, let me just go back to the top.
Put it on repeat. And then you just forget that anybody else is releasing music because you're just stuck on hers. So moving forward, well, not moving forward, this year has been a big year for K-pop in the U.S. specifically.
Man, BTS.
Woo, man, they just blew the world. It was just ridiculous. They opened new doors. I mean, I was fortunate to be one of the first to interview BTS before the blow up.
Really?
And like that concert that they were on tour before everybody got crazy over them. I swear to you, there was people that don't even speak Japanese, don't even speak Korean, don't speak anything other than English, and they were singing along and enjoying the music. So it's like, how do you feel about that? I feel like they opened the door for K-pop and for Japanese and Asian artists in the U.S., but how do you feel about that?
It excites me. It absolutely excites me because we don't see many Asians coming out into the specifically American charts, you know, American of all kinds of genres, music genre charts. And, you know, it excites me because, one, I've known of people to be listening to K-pop music, you know. And when I bump into them, or even J-pop music, they say, yeah, you know, I listen to so-and-so. I'm like, really?
But they're quiet about it.
Yeah. So the fact that I don't know how it happened for BTS, you know, I don't know all the inside stories and stuff, but the fact that they're out there at all and people are listening to them, it does open the door because people are getting familiar with the style, with their faces, with different languages. And it's all about getting people familiar. You know, people are, for some reason, are stuck to what they're comfortable with, you know, even though they want different, but they don't get into the different until they're comfortable with it. You know what I'm saying? So it excites me, man. And I hope that it allows for more and more of us to come out, you know. I don't really see a lot of female Asian artists. I mean, of course, we have like, you know, the Janae Aigos and A. Marie's and Mila J's and stuff. But people outside of America who are not American coming in and sharing music here, that hasn't really been done before, been done yet successfully. So I'm one of the candidates that's, you know, doing my best. So let's see where the music takes me. I'll go where the music takes me. Right. And I would love it if my music spreads out here and blows up and inspires people. But yeah, let's see what happens, man.
Now, what's next? Now that the EP's out here in the States, what is next for you? Can we expect a tour here in the States? Because I don't remember seeing a tour date in LA for Chanel.
That is like a work in progress because you know, we just released this last month, so I'm definitely in the works of wanting to perform in as many places as possible, even opening up for some acts. That's what me and my team are working on, because I can't wait to come to everybody's city and just, you know, sing for them. I can't wait. That's like my dream. Maybe
you could just turn the tables around and go back to March 2006, and instead of opening up for Kanye, he can open up for you.
Hey! Oh man, now that'll be a miracle.
Do it. You got to put it up in the space, and then you just make it happen. Man.
Woo! You never know what's gonna happen. You just don't. I never knew that I was gonna blow up in Japan. Like what? Right. So. Yeah, let's see what happens, man. I'm working on that. I definitely want to perform more, for sure. I have to.
Right. Mm-hmm. Now, for those that haven't heard you yet, what makes you so different from many other female Asian artists out there?
What makes me so different? I think a lot of it has got to do with my upbringing, where I was raised, and the kinds of music that I listen to and how I interpret them and how it comes through into the music that I create today. And just, I guess, me overall as a person as well, all of that combined makes it different, you know. And people such as yourself sharing with me how you feel reminds me of how different I am too, you know. So yeah.
that it kind of goes hand in hand, because when I listen to music like yours, it reminds me why I'm doing what I'm doing. So it's like we're bouncing off of each other's crafts, I guess.
I appreciate that. So. I do. That's awesome.
Awesome job with the record. Can't wait for a full-length album. If you guys haven't checked out Chanel yet, you guys be sure to do so. Calm Before the Storm's out now. It's incredible. Pick it up. And thanks for watching here on Front Row Live.